Game 3 of 82 is here upon us. It is Carolina taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins at PPG Paints Arena. Pittsburgh starting off their season 3-2. Carolina having a big win against New Jersey to get to 1-1. Taking a look at some of the numbers, Carolina is still yet to find the first power play goal, while Pittsburgh's is clicking at a nice rate, 26.7%. A big number I want to take a look at. The goals against for Pittsburgh, 4.2. They've been struggling in the net. Can Carolina capitalize on that? Another big point, Carolina's PK did not improve on their number for game 2. Pretty even in the face-off circle. Carolina looking to get that goals for number right on up. Taking a look at Pittsburgh's forward lineup, you already know the two-headed monster of Crosby and Malkin. Malkin already has 11 points on the season. That's two guys to be looking out for, and a couple of familiar faces coming back in Michael Bunting and Jesse Puljujarvi. The first time we're going to be seeing Kevin Hayes as well too in a Pittsburgh uniform. They are centered by Cody Glass and Noel Acciari on the other side. Then taking a look at Pittsburgh's defense, they are a partnership of Matt Grzelcyk and Chris Letang. And then we have Peterson, Carlson, Graves, and St. Ivy. Jari should get the start, I think, because he got pulled after 5 shots last game against Buffalo. Not entirely sure who will get the start. Bloomquist ended up playing the majority of that game. So we'll see who Pittsburgh decides to go with in this one. And then taking a look at Carolina's forwards, same lineup I'm predicting as the previous game against New Jersey. We're going to have the Aho line with Jarvis and Svechnikov. Kokaniemi, I thought looked really good in game 1. Same with game 2, same with Svechnikov. Looking to get Roslovic going. Natchez always buzzing. Jackson Blake coming off his first career goal. Can you maybe add a couple more points? He's going to be on a line with Drury and Robinson. And then that Stahl, Carrier, Martinook line, the more I see it, the more I like it. Big, heavy, and physical. Taking a look at some of the D pairing. We have Jacob Slavin next to Brent Burns, Orlov Chatfield, and then Gostisbehere Walker. I was very hard on that Gostisbehere Walker line to start the season, thinking it's actually become a pretty good combo. I'm excited to see him. Anderson should get the start in this game. I'm assuming Kochetkov will get the start against St. Louis. Big predictions for this game. Can Carolina get going on the power play? Can they shut down Pittsburgh's power play? How will Carolina handle that two-headed monster of Crosby and Malkin? And let's see what the boys have to say next.
Game 3 of 82 for the Carolina Hurricanes is upon us. We're taking on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh at PPG Paints Arena. I hope the arena name hasn't gotten changed since the last time I remembered. But from my understanding, PPG Paints Arena. This one's going to be kind of, I think, a bigger test as far as where Carolina is. I think you got two strong teams to start the season off that are really going to put the Carolina through a litmus test. But then playoff teams can really clean up against the teams that aren't supposed to be in playoffs as well, too. And that's where they're going to generate a lot of their points from. I don't have Pittsburgh as being a playoff team, so I think this is really going to be a test. If Carolina is a true out-and-out playoff team, they should clean up Pittsburgh rather cleanly, as New York did in game 1, 6-1 or 6-0 victory over Pittsburgh. Big key things is always going to be, can you shut down Crosby? Because outside of Sidney Crosby, they got some. I mean, Malkin's good. They got guys that can play. If Rickard Rakell's going, he can be good. Carter can be good. I know they added Kevin Hayes as well too. So I mean, they have guys that can play. They're the older team in the NHL, so playing them with a lot of speed and tempo is going to be where you make your money. I think really taking advantage of two defensemen like Letang and Carlson for a little bit of lackluster D-zone coverage is going to be where Carolina is going to make their bread and butter in this game. Yeah. And I foresee it being a very offensive, forechecking style hockey from Carolina. I'll pass it over to you, Cam, for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Pittsburgh struggled in their first game of the season against the Rangers for sure. And again, I don't know if that's a symptom of Pittsburgh is, just had an off night, or if the Rangers are that good, who knows? But they came back.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, they came back in their second game. put a pretty big beating on Detroit, even though they gave up a couple goals late from what I can recall. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But they, yeah, I mean, they're going to be one of those teams that's probably going to be on the outside looking in. Obviously, that could be wrong if they add some extra pieces or if they, have some lineup changes or if, some of the young guys that they have on the team start stepping up. But yeah, I think the Canes can win this one for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest question mark, in my opinion, for Pittsburgh, outside of the obvious, is for me is the goaltending. They don't really have. I don't think Jari's that good. Nedeljkovic is all right, but they don't really have like a true guy that they're like, oh, we're gonna hang our hat on making this guy part of the organization forever. So
Yeah.
for them, they're kind of in that weird situation where they got the aging core that won them all the cups that's headed out, and they're trying to kind of do a small rebuild while those guys are kind of just hanging on for dear life at this point. So, yeah, I think the Canes can definitely win this one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, Kyle, is going to be the speed of the game. I think the speed of the game is going to overwhelm Pittsburgh. Here's the X factor, though, is I suspect Nedeljkovic is going to start. I think because he's
He always
always
plays so good against Carolina.
he plays so well against us, and that's going to be the X factor. I mean, we could skate by him 100 miles an hour. But if Ned's playing well, he's got our number. I hate to say it, but he plays well against us. So I suspect he's going to start, and I suspect that's going to be the X factor. If we get to Ned early, I think that's going to be the key. Kind of like with Vasilevsky last night. We got in his kitchen a little bit early, but with Ned, we got to get there quick, and we got to get there early. If he is the starter, but he is, in my opinion, the X factor. But the speed, we have to play with it. We have to play a speed game. We can't slow the game down for Pittsburgh because they'll quite honestly, they'll eat us alive. Yeah, because they have too much skill. And so Ned's the X factor. If he plays out of his mind like he does against us normally, then there's a chance that we come out on the bad end of this one. But we got to get to him often and early.
Hey, Cam, do you think Ned's the X factor in this one?
I mean,
No,
I don't know.
I was more being sarcastic because Dad said it 4 times.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, gotcha. All right.
All right. Let's go to final score predictions. What do you got, Cam?
Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, I'll stick with two. I'll stick with like a 3-2 win. I think they're going to win a 1-goal game.
OT?
No, just regulation for the Canes. I
Okay.
think they're going to win 3-2.
All right, Dad, what do you got?
Well, I'm gonna go out because I think our speed's gonna take over the game, and I think we are gonna get to him early and often, and I think it's gonna be a 4-1 game.
Okay. All right. I'm also going to do 3-2, but I'm doing 3-2 in overtime. I think last year, Carolina and Pittsburgh went to overtime in all 3 of their games, if I'm not mistaken. It was almost always a 3-2 game, if I'm not mistaken, as well, too. So I'm just playing the odds.
Yeah,
I
I hear
think
ya.
that's what it's going to be. I think that's what it's going to be for game 3 of 82.